Hi, hello, namaste. This is Dr. Kasigari Prasad, Associate Professor, Graphologist, Writer and Motivational Speaker. Actually, we have come across with so many topics in the previous sessions like the introduction to satellite communications, then satellite subsystems. Now, in this session, we are supposed to discuss on design link parameters of satellite communications. So, how we can design the uplink as well as the downlink. In this today's session, we will discuss on downlink design parameters. Actually, in the downlink design, we know basically two types of things. One is the space segment and next one is the ground segment. From the space segment to ground segment, in the space segment we have satellite, in the ground segment we are having earth station. So with reference to this, when a signal is transmitted from earth station to the space segment, that means to the satellite, from there it is processed and resent to the ground station. So this link is called downlink. Information or the data or the signal which is been transmitted from satellite to the ground station is called downlink path. Similarly, the information, data or signal energy which is transmitted from ground station to the satellite is called uplink. Today we are going to study how to design this ground link. So naturally, in designing the ground link, basically we use three different types of frequency bands: C band, Ka band and Ku band frequencies. Among these three frequencies, how the effect of attenuation is implemented and what is the actual transmitted power and the amount of received power, the relation among these two, the carrier signal C and the noise associated with this one and the carrier to noise ratio, all these parameters we are supposed to calculate right now. So in order to design a satellite communication, very specifically the uplink and downlink design process takes two minimum constraints. The first constraint is the cost to design, the cost to implement the satellite communication, that to the uplink as well as downlink, should be as minimum as possible. And also the carrier to noise ratio associated with this design should be up to a specific value and it should be optimum value. That means we have to design the downlink in such a way that the carrier to noise ratio should be of specific value, that too with reference to the cost. The cost should be very small. So it is a very typical design that a satellite engineer has to do. Cost should be minimum, but also we have to achieve the very best or specified or optimized carrier to noise ratio. This is what we have to perform. So here the very important factor in designing of a satellite system is antenna. Antenna is a very critical point. So these antennas basically which are used in satellite communications have very large aperture. So very large aperture antennas are used in satellite communications, and also they should achieve a very good directivity gain. The gain should be very high. So very high gain antennas or very large antennas are supposed to be used here. If we use the high gain as well as high directivity antennas, obviously the large aperture antennas, obviously the cost will also increase. So we have to take a specific care while designing satellite communications. As I mentioned already, three different types of frequencies are used for satellite communication designing. One is 6x4 GHz, next one is 14x11 GHz and next one is 30x20 GHz of frequencies. Uplink, downlink frequencies are used here. But the problem here is at a different frequencies, the attenuation experienced by the wave is different. At 6x4 GHz, the attenuation experienced to the wave of propagation is smaller compared to 14x11 when compared to that of 30x20. So 30x20 frequency experiences higher attenuation. As the frequency increases, the attenuation experienced by the wave propagation also increases. And also we design a satellite for specific application or specific operation to be operated for a specific period of time. So we design satellites in order to operate for a specific period of time. Therefore, reliability of that satellite system should also be very high, to a maximum 99.5 to 99.99% of reliability should be there in designing the satellite, and they must satisfy the functioning of that satellite to a specified time. Next, as the signal when it is transmitted from ground station to the satellite and from satellite to ground station, three important parameters are to be taken into consideration. One is carrier signal, next one is received signal. That means in the propagation period some noise will be incurred, will be associated to this actual carrier signal. Therefore, the carrier to noise ratio is a very important parameter that has to be taken and that is to be calculated. If carrier to noise ratio value is very small, such that that signal do not reach the receiver, then at the time we say simply satellite is in outage, the link is in outage. That means no transmission has been taken place from transmitter to receiver if at the receivers the signals to carrier noise ratio is weaker, that means very low. What are the factors that influence or affect the carrier to noise ratio in the link design of a satellite is rain and atmospheric conditions that are there in the space will influence the attenuation on particular wave propagation. Naturally, C-band links can be designed to achieve 99.99% of reliability because they experience little attenuation due to rain. To a maximum, their attenuation do not exceed 1 or 2 dB. Thus, the attenuation experienced by the satellite links are not stable, are not fixed, or not constant. They are fluctuating and they are unpredictable and they change year by year, day by day and month by month. Outage occurs in heavy rains, usually in thunderstorms. And thunderstorms occurrence varies widely. So we cannot predict thunderstorms will come and where it comes and how it comes. We don't know. What is the magnitude of the thunderstorms also we cannot estimate. So all these will influence the designing procedure of a satellite communication system. Most Ka band links cannot be designed to achieve 99.99% reliability because the rain attenuation here generally exceeds 10 dB, often to 20 dB for 0.01% of time. So the attenuation influences very maximum here. Telephone traffic needs real-time channels that are maintained for the duration of a call. So C-band and Ku band is used for voice channels with sufficient link margin that outage times are very small. Internet transmissions are less affected by short outages and generally do not require a real-time channel, making Ka band better suited for internet accesses. Now, the important parameter is we have to design the downlink for a particular satellite, link budget. So from transmitter to the receiver, when a signal is reaching, carrier to noise ratio is an important factor that is to be estimated or to be calculated. So this estimation of transmitting power and the receiving power over a distance d and the total amount of losses that are incurred in between transmitting information from transmitter to receiver, all these have some relation. That relation, if we are estimating for designing of a satellite, then that is called as link budget. So carrier to noise ratio calculation is simplified by the use of link budgets. A link budget is a tabulated method for evaluating the receiver power and noise power in a ratio link. Link budgets invariably use decibel units. In order to design a satellite uplink and downlink, link budget helps a lot. Link budget basically gives relationship amount about transmitting power, receiving power and the losses. So if we clearly estimate what is the transmitted power, received power and the total amount of losses that are associated in satellite communications, then we can design the system very efficiently such that the reliability of that one, cost is minimized and success rate of that particular satellite operation will also increases. So in such a way we have to design a satellite. Link budget must be calculated for an individual transponder and must be repeated for each of the individual links. In a two-way satellite communication link, there will be 4 separate links, each requiring a calculation of carrier to noise ratio. When a bent pipe transponder is used, the uplink and downlink carrier to noise ratios must be combined to give an overall carrier to noise ratio. The link budgets are usually calculated for the worst case, the one in which the link will have the lowest carrier to noise ratio. So here the important factor is we are going to calculate or estimate the link budget from transmitting power to receiving power. We are going to estimate the signal. So we estimate the signal for the worst case, that means the least receiving signal, so that it will be best suited for the other signals. So we calculate or we design the signal for the worst category, hence it can be best suited for the best signal reception. There are several factors that influence the link budget. So among several factors, a few of them are listed. What are they? The very first one is to how much area the satellite is supposed to cover. That means the earth station coverage area. That means there is a satellite and it covers some zone, and in that zone where the observer, that is called earth station, is supposed to be suited or located either at the center or at the edges of that particular satellite zone. That is important factor. Next one is very important, is the maximum path length from the satellite to that of the earth station. Next, the lowest elevation angle. What is the elevation angle from the earth station to that of the satellite is the important thing. And next one, the amount of attenuation that is experienced, maybe atmospheric attenuation, transmitter attenuation, receiver attenuation, path loss attenuation, rain attenuation, and many other, all different types of attenuations in a clear air and in the heavy rain categories. At both the two things we have to consider. Next one, either a single beam antenna is used to transmit the signal, or a multi-beam antenna or a spot beam antenna, depending on the type of antennas that are used here. It will influence on the carrier to noise ratio calculations. Let us calculate the carrier to noise ratio in a satellite link based on two equations. The very first one is, what is the received signal? What is the received signal PR? And what is the received noise power? Depending on this PR as well as a noise power, we can estimate the satellite link budget. Let us see the received power PR is equal to, in the previous video and in the previous video lecture, we have defined about what is the power, received power. According to that, let us estimate what is PR. PR is the total amount of power transmitted from transmitting antenna and its gain. Therefore, EIRP, the product of the two is called EIRP. Electrically isolated radiated power, EIRP, plus the gain of the receiver minus the path losses, LP, minus the attenuation losses, LA, comma, the receiver losses, LR, as well as the last one is LT, temperature losses also. So all these will contribute to the received power PR. Then once we calculate received power, then we have to calculate noise power, and noise power is, so noise power at the receiver can be estimated as noise temperature TSK, and the noise bandwidth is BN in hertz. Then the noise power can be given as Pn is equal to KTS Bn, where K is Boltzmann constant, Ts is the temperature, Bn is the bandwidth. The receiver system noise power is usually written as N is equal to K plus Ts plus Bn, where K is Boltzmann's constant, Ts is system temperature, Bn is noise bandwidth. Thank you very much. And we and ours is a Kasigari Prasad, a learning, educational, enthusiastic, inspiring and motivating channel. I invite you to kindly subscribe to our channel, comment on the particular section, and share the information, knowledgeable information, to your students, faculty fraternity and to your family members. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.